There is one thing that I do when I am upset that really, really helps. And you want to know what it is? It is rewatching trailers from the early 2010s, the golden era, where they were trying to turn every single young adult book into a movie. So today we're going to do something fun, and we're going to go and rewatch several trailers from that time period. Looking these up and queuing them on my computer was a little depressing, realizing that some of these movies have come out like 12 years ago. This past week has, quite frankly, kicked my butt, so this is just going to be a chill video where we watch the trailers and chat. Welcome to my computer. I felt like to start, we should do the Hunger Games, because whenever I feel the need to go watch old trailers, this is the first one I come to.
We could do it, take off, live in the woods.
They'd catch us.
Well, maybe not.
We wouldn't make it 5 miles.
That is, I'm going to be pausing this, by the way, to avoid copyright claims. That is something that we never got in the movies, I feel like. We mentioned Avoxes, and like very briefly in Mockingjay, we explained the idea behind Avoxes, but we never, I don't think, had an explanation from Katniss of her seeing, like, running into them in the forest, which when they first filmed the movie, I was like, oh, that's not such a big part. But later on, I realized, like, kind of, yes, it is, because that is the whole point where Gail's like, could take off and live in the woods, and she says that they can't because that is the punishment for getting caught.
Welcome, welcome. The time has come to select one courageous young man and woman for the honor of representing District 12 in the 74th Annual Hunger Games.
It's your first year, Graham. Your name's only been in there once. They're not gonna pick you.
How iconic. Also, like, fun fact, this movie was filmed super close to where I grew up. All the people standing there were like extras. I could have been in that movie.
Our tributes, Peter Malark and Katniss Everdeen.
They just want a good show. That's all they want.
There's 24 of us, Gail. Only one comes out.
Looking at it now, okay, look at this that we get. All of this stuff about the Capitol, like, looking at it now, obviously it was CGI, like the whole thing, but looking at it now that we have Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, it's just like, look how far we've come.
So you're here to make me look pretty?
Here to help you make an impression.
I feel like now that I've seen the movie so many times, I have a simultaneous love and hatred for Caesar Flickerman. But he's such a good job in these movies.
And so it was decreed that each year the 12 districts of Pan Am shall offer up in tribute one young man and woman between the ages of 12 and 18 to be trained in the art of survival and to be prepared to fight to the death.
I used to unironically listen to this song on my iPod Touch. The background of this song is called Deep Shadow by TTL. I did learn it on the piano. It's not my fault that they released absolute bangers for the background of these trailers.
This is the time to show them everything. Make sure that...
Also, the Katniss braid, I did learn how to do that. And I wore it to the movie theater where I forced all of my friends to go see the premiere with me, and we all made shirts. This was the era of puff paint. It is not my fault.
I remember you. I just keep wishing I could think of a way to show them that they don't own me. If I'm gonna die, I want to still be me.
I just can't afford to think like that.
This is such a good trailer. This came out my freshman year of high school, and me and my friends, I had 2 friends that we were just, Hunger Games was it. We were so excited for this movie. And I remember, like, Coming in from PE, we would be sitting in the locker room and we would be watching this on repeat, just like screaming, the games will change everyone. Thinking back to it now, I feel like that would sound so crazy. Good times though, good times. Also, fun fact about me, if you would like to join on this tradition, every year on March 23rd, I do celebrate Hunger Games Day and I rewatch the movies. And also, I noticed this right away when the first movie came out. So at the end of this trailer, we have that deep voice doing the countdown thing, but in the movie, they cut it. And I don't know why, because we had the guy with his voice, you know, when they're going out and there's that like guy in the room with all the game stuff and he has the microphone that makes his voice lower. And so that's how we know that they do that. So I don't understand, maybe it just didn't work in editing when they had it all the way to the countdown or whatever. Because in the movie they just had those like beats and maybe it was meant to, you know, like parallel heartbeat and stuff like that, but that was something I had noticed in the trailer that I was so confused when we went into the movie. So something you should know about Divergent. It was my absolute favorite book. Definitely, like, as soon as I read Hunger Games, I went into reading Divergent and then I had the most horrible book hangover you've ever had in your life. I read that book just like repeated probably 3 or 4 times because I couldn't get myself to move on to another book. And then also this movie was the one they did after Hunger Games, basically, as far as young adult adaptations go. So I was expecting, to me, the Hunger Games, even the first one, I know they switched directors in going into Catching Fire, but still the first one was very much exactly what I imagined, the same way that Catching Fire and the others are just so exactly what I pictured. And so when we went into Divergent, I was expecting that level of perfection. And that's not what we got. Let's just watch.
You nervous?
Who are you? For your test?
No. I was terrified.
The only way our society can survive is for each of you to claim your rightful place. Today you will take a test that will help you discover who you truly are. The future belongs to those who know where they belong.
I feel like when I went to go see this movie, though, I did not fully appreciate like how star-studded the cast was. I was not well enough versed in the film universe to understand how many big names they pulled into this movie, which is why another reason it's so frustrating that it didn't fully live up to what I wanted. Now, like nowadays, I used to do a reread of Divergent every single year. I don't do it that often anymore, but sometimes if I want to go back into that world, the movie is nice. I would not say the same thing about Insurgent or the Allegiant movie, which I didn't even see, because I feel like Insurgent went so far off the rails. That would be a fun video. I feel like that would take so much editing, but we should do like an Allegiant watch party. That would be so fun. Also, right when this came out, it was also around the time of The Fault in Our Stars, and so it was like kind of such a joke that they were siblings in this movie, and then they were dating in like literally the next movie we all saw.
You ready?
This isn't real.
Your results were inconclusive.
This was supposed to tell me what to do. We're supposed to trust the test.
Didn't work on you. They call it Divergent. You can't let them find out about you. They're always watching. You have to hide, or they'd never expect to find you.
Welcome to the illness.
Snaps for Theo James. So, with this, I mean, here's my thing. With this set, I feel like that was such a huge sticking point for me. I will have you know, after I went and saw the movie, I did go home. It was I remember so vividly that it was a school night and I went home and I wrote a 10-page, just complete grievances with the movie. I've chilled out since then, but I just like, looking at this, to me, the set doesn't feel like it's done, because with the pit, like jumping into the pit, I really loved that scene. And then we come down here and I'm like, why does it look like they made a set and then didn't do any of the CGI or editing that was supposed to be there. Because as far as my understanding goes, the pit, yes, it's a pit, but then in the walls, there's all, you know, the tattoo parlor and the, what's it called, cafeteria, and where, you know, she went shopping, and like, there's all that stuff in here. And this looks like they made a set, and then, like, literally to me, I'm like, is this, you know, the wires that went to the camera or something? Like, it didn't look like they tried. I'm sure they did, but at the same time, I was like, this just does not look at all like the pit I imagined. It just looks super sparse.
2 stages of training. First is physical. Push your bodies to the breaking point. You're never gonna win, not like that.
It's good to know.
Keep tension here, okay? The second is mental. Face your worst fears and conquer them.
Did you guys read like the other book that Veronica Roth released about Divergent? It was called 4, and we got to see this scene from his perspective. When I tell you, so she released this specific scene before she released the book. It was kind of like the announcement thing. I lost my ever-loving mind. After I read that, I went onto fanfiction.net and I rewrote the entirety of Divergent and Insurgent from 4's perspective based around how much I loved that one chapter that Veronica Roth released. I'm pretty sure when I saw that, I cried. And then immediately after, they announced that this movie was coming out. It was like one of the best weeks of my life.
You made a mistake choosing Dauntless. He'll find out about you.
I know what you are. It's been a long time since I didn't trust anyone. I don't want to be just one thing. I want to be brave.
I still can't decide if I like this tattoo or not. Let me know in the comments your thoughts, because to me it doesn't quite look the way it should to me. But overall, I think it was a good idea to do the whole back piece, because if I'm remembering correctly from the books, it was just the spine, which would have looked super weird on camera.
Unselfish and intelligent and honest and kind. If you want to survive, follow me.
Divergence threaten the system. It won't be safe until they're removed.
We have to fight back.
See, that's another instance. Go back. See, to me, this doesn't look like a finished set at all. Like, what is this blue landing pad that we have here? It looks like it's there for the ensuing fight scene. Like,
We have to fight back.
so the zipline scene I did love, and partially because that was Veronica Roth's cameo coming out with the other Dauntless before they strap her onto the zipline and stuff, and so I loved that. I had qualms with the score in this movie as well. For whatever reason, like, all the romantic scenes, they just like absolutely blast pop music behind it in anything they made in 2010s. I thought the simulations were cool when they did it in the movie. I thought it was weird that they set them up to a box when we started in on Insurgent. This is one of my favorite scenes in all of books. So I assume this is the actual Ferris wheel, because I've never been to Chicago, so I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I assume we're in the correct place. I feel like there were so many good people in this cast, but also, like, to me, I think the first time I saw Miles Teller was in Footloose. So if you've ever seen him in Footloose, it is so hard to see him as an antagonist in any way. I don't know, like, he doesn't look like an antagonist. Like, he doesn't look like the bad guy. Does that make sense? Like, the guy they got to play, the other Dauntless instructor, he looks like he could be a bad guy. I don't know if that makes any type of sense, but to me that is how it was. On to Maze Runner. I really like this movie, by the way. I thought they did a good job.
Can you tell me anything about yourself?
Why is it so
Who you are,
pixely?
where you came from? Can you tell me your name?
I can't remember anything. Day one, Greenie. Rise and shine. What is this place?
Welcome to Glade.
In my opinion, this movie was perfectly cast. Perfectly cast. I am partial to Dylan O'Brien, so maybe that's it. But I thought they did an amazing job picking everybody out for this. I also thought the way they did the maze and stuff was amazing. I know that they did stray from the books to an extent, and then I never saw Scorch Trials, and I don't even know if they made Death Cure. I think they did. I think I said this in another video, that one of my friend's younger sisters, she felt about Maze Runner the way I feel about Divergent. And so when she went and saw Scorch Trials, she was pissed. Like, she did not like it. And so I've never seen it. But I thought they did a really good job with the first one.
Who put us here?
We don't know.
What's through there?
See, like, the maze looks so good.
I can't let you leave.
Why won't you tell me what's out there?
It's the maze.
I love that guy who plays Newt. I saw him first in, like, Nanny McPhee. So seeing him pop up again in this movie was like a jump scare at first.
Every morning when those doors open, the runners look for a way out. No one has ever survived a night in the maze. What happens to them? We call them grievers. We don't belong here. Somebody built the maze. I think it's time we find out what we're really up against.
You know that the others. You're curious.
What the hell's that? This is the first real clue. You found it. Who knows where this might lead us? It's a go.
Thomas.
Everything started changing the moment you showed up.
What if we were sent here for a reason?
The doors aren't closing. They're here.
They're gonna keep coming back until they kill us all.
We get out now, or we die trying. You don't get it. We're already dead.
It's so pixely.
You sure about this? No.
I feel like I need to pause this so I don't get a copyright strike. This scene in particular was so upsetting to watch. Like, it's one thing to sometimes read a scene, and then it's another thing to see it entirely. I don't want to, like, give away if people haven't read it, but the book has been out forever. But anyways, I'm pretty sure the way they did the Griever stings, like, you can see, like, it almost looks like, I guess, how blood poisoning looks. But it looked more, is the word I'm looking for cybernetic? I don't really know. Like a motherboard or something, if I'm remembering correctly. I feel like they did a good job with Grievers, because I originally had a hard time even imagining what they looked like myself when I was reading it, because they are like part animal, part machine. It's been so long that I can't remember. I think they did the telepathy thing in the movie. I'm pretty sure they did it. Though I feel like it's very hard to do telepathy without it being super freaking weird. Like, there's been multiple times, maybe we just had a thing for telepathy growing up, because I remember multiple movies that had mind-to-mind talking, and like every time they did it in a movie, people would like laugh because it is weird, and it's hard to do it without it being awkward in a movie.
We can't leave. They won't let us.
The amount of running they probably had to do to film that. Whoa.
Be curious.
Okay, that's enough of that. The amount of running they had to do in this movie was probably insane. And like full out sprints too. Like, can you imagine filming that sprinting scene? But having to do takes of it over and over and over again? I feel like it was probably the same way with the Hunger Games, because I watched the behind the scenes of the Hunger Games. I got the DVD and the full access pass thing that they did in the like extra DVD. And my understanding is that the training was genuinely brutal for the Hunger Games, and I feel like it was probably the same here, where they were probably downing protein at all hours and then having to exercise like maniacs. Let us switch gears to The Fault in Our Stars.
I believe we have a choice in this world about how to tell sad stories. On the one hand, you can sugarcoat it. And nothing is too messed up that can't be fixed with a Peter Gabriel song. I like that version as much as the next girl does. It's just not the truth. This is the truth.
So, with every John Green adaptation, as far as I know, he has been heavily involved with the adaptations, and I feel like it shows, because this is another one of those things where it is as clear as I imagined it reading the book.
Hey, make some friends.
Sorry.
My bad.
Precursor, I know there's issues with Ansel Elgort. Back when I saw this movie, this was like one of my favorite scenes ever.
I'm Augustus Waters. I've been in remission for about a year and a half.
Maybe you'd like to share some of your fears with the group.
Cheers. Oblivion. What's your name?
Hazel.
What's your full name?
Hazel Grace Lancaster. Why are you staring at me?
Because you're beautiful. So,
Also, I thought the branding for this movie was on point. They did so much stuff with the like okay cloud thing, and then I loved the font and stuff. When they originally released the movie, they had like the night of, if you went for the opening thing, you got the poster, you got a branded bracelet. They also did that Night Under the Stars thing. Did anybody else watch that? It was like a live stream. It was the first live stream I've ever watched in my life. And they had like I think the cast talking, and that was when they officially released Boom Clap into the world, I think. Because I remember I was texting one of my friends who was like also watching the live stream, and she was like, what is this song? Which honestly, when you first hear Boom Clap for the first time, it's a different. Then it's one of those songs that once you listen to it 10-15 times, you're like, this is the best song ever. But they did so much in the release of this movie, which honestly it almost surprises me, because this was the first adaptation movie that they did, so it wasn't like they had, I mean, I guess they had the sales to back it up of the book itself, but I was just like, thinking about it now, I feel like, I don't know that much about film, but I know a lot more than I did when I was younger, and it's just wild to me that they poured that much money into stuff like that, going into a movie where they had not tested an adaptation that was like this, at least in my recent memory. I'm sure there's millions of book to movie adaptations, but this was the first of the young adult contemporaries that I remember coming out. And then I went in the theater and cried for 2 hours.
what's your story?
I was diagnosed when I was 13.
Your real story.
I am quite unextraordinary.
I reject that out of hand.
You know, Gus talks about you all the time.
We're just friends.
I hope you realize you trying to keep your distance from me in no way lessens my affection for you.
Guess I'm a grenade. One day I'm gonna blow up, and I'm gonna obliterate everything in my wake. And I don't want to hurt you.
You don't get to choose if you get hurt in this world, but you do have a say in who hurts you. I am in love with you, Hazel Grace. And I know that love is just a shout into the void, and that oblivion is inevitable. And I am in love with you. All your efforts to keep me from you are gonna fail.
Definitely have to pause here, because I feel like Coldplay, is that who does this? No, One Republic. I feel like they've probably got their stuff down as far as copyright goes. Man, it has been so long since I've seen this movie. I do remember like the entire plot very well. After this movie ended, I kid you not, I was so swollen from crying, and I went on that first night because I desperately wanted that poster and the bracelet. And so afterwards, they brought up all the lights, and I had to run away because I didn't want all my friends who I forced to come see the movie with me. Another instance of me forcing people to make t-shirts with me to go to a movie. Mine had the Nerd Fighteria. I don't know if anybody remembers. I physically can't do the Vulcan sign, but it, you know, the Nerd Fighteria thing, it was on the front with like a quote. I was so proud of that t-shirt, by the way.
So angry.
You need to break something.
You gave me a forever with the number of days, and I can't tell you how thankful I am for our little infinity.
It's a good life, Hazel Grace.
I went and saw that bench in person. One of my friends she was actually studying abroad at the time when this movie came out, and she was as obsessed as I was. We went to see this movie together, and then I went and visited her, and we got to go see the bench, and it was just the cutest.
Okay.
Okay.
So as soon as I got done sobbing over this movie, this one came out.
What's that?
You'll be auditioning for Juilliard. That's the ceiling. I figured, if you look at it every night, it won't seem so scary when you get there.
Was that not so sweet though?
I told you he was into you.
No, he isn't. You know how when you meet someone and they just already are the person they're meant to be? That was Adam. Nobody outside Portland had ever heard of his band, but he already was somebody. Me, not so much.
She shouldn't be scared to hang out with those guys. They're us.
Exactly.
Adam's here.
Kids, be careful out there. Here it gets pretty wild at Symphony.
Why do I have this feeling you're about to mess up my entire life?
You can't hide in that rehearsal room forever. It's too late. See you.
This movie, like, some of these lines actually are so dramatic, but, yeah, like, this movie is just, like, another sob fest.
Isn't it amazing how life is one thing and then in an instant it becomes something else? Like here I am, Mia, the girl who thinks about the cello and Adam, and just like that.
Mom! Daddy! Dad!
Am I dying?
Here's the secret, baby. If you live, if you die, it's all up to you. So whatever fight you got in you, you gotta pull it out now.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
Kid's waking up an orphan. If she wakes up.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
Probably should copyright. But this movie is honestly so sad, which first of all, I have noticed something in books is that our characters are always trying to get into something like Juilliard or Harvard or like, what is the one in Cinderella's story? Princeton. I feel like the amount of characters that get into those schools is more than the amount of people that actually get into those schools. Some lore about me, back in the day, I used to help people write their essays for college admissions. And when I tell you that some of these applicants to Harvard have, at 18 years old, discovered planets, started successful million-dollar businesses, lobbied for different laws in actual governments, like, it is crazy. That was a tangent. With this movie specifically, I don't understand, like, I mean, it's a beautiful story. I understand why it got popular. I just also, like, why did baby Caitlin want to see this? Like, I remember sobbing so hard. There was one year, I wish I could remember what year it was because I started off at such a chaotic level. Like, I remember January 1st, I wanted to watch a movie on my computer, and so I watched The Fault in Our Stars, and then the next day, I was like, I want to watch another movie, and I watched this. I watched Fault in Our Stars and this movie back to back, January 1st and 2nd, for, like, what type of, I feel like that just started the year at such an intense level of chaos. This movie, though it is a very heartwarming movie because a lot of the story is told through flashbacks to see what led her to, like, who she is now and stuff like that, and to show her past relationship with Adam. But for the most part, if you want to cry, like, this is the one.
What am I supposed to do?
Sometimes you make choices in life, and sometimes choices make you.
You like me better at this.
The you are now is the same you I was in love with yesterday, the same you I'll be in love with tomorrow.
You still have a family, Mia.
I can't lose her.
Life is this big, fat, gigantic, stinking mess.
This scene right here, I listened to the soundtrack of this movie over and over and over again. I feel like at this point I didn't know much classical music, but I liked the ones that were in this movie. And then also this is one of my favorite scenes ever. The parents, every Sunday they have like this open barbecue situation and everybody brings their instruments and stuff. And it was just, it's so heartwarming. Her parents are more into like the rock and roll side of music, and she was like kind of like the odd duckling in their family, I guess, of liking classical music. And so they included her in this little jam session, and it is like, it was truly so cute, and they did a great job with the scene and with the music. I don't know if the song that is in this movie was actually a song beforehand or if they wrote it specifically for this, but I always really liked that song.
Life is this big, fat, gigantic, stinking mess. That's the beauty of it, too.
I'm still here. And I'm crazy in love with you. Please stay.
I don't think they ever made the follow-up movie to this. I remember reading the sequel. I remember reading the sequel, but I don't remember what happened in it. Should I see this?
Maybe for you there's a tomorrow.
What do you mean
Maybe
buy or
there's
rent?
1,000 or 10. But for some of us, there's only today.
Hey, sexy.
Get in! Seriously, so funny.
I can't believe high school's almost over. Well, at least we did it right, you know? Kissed the hottest boys, went to the sickest parties.
Damn, big party night. My mom's going out of town.
Oh my god. What's she doing here?
Watch this.
This whole high school thing's just a blip.
Mommy says you have to get up. It's Saturday. Maybe for you there's a tomorrow. What happened last night?
What are you talking about?
Sorry for the total side tangent. I'm trying to figure out if I've watched this movie or not. So I read this book. I remember reading it, but I don't remember if I saw this movie. And I'm starting to realize how many of these actors cross over into all these YA stuff, because the girl, the blonde one right there, she was in Paper Towns, and then the main guy in Paper Towns was in The Fault in Our Stars, and then both Ansel Elgort and Shailene Woodley were both in Divergent. A lot of crossover episodes happening.
Been having deja vu all day long.
This whole high school thing's just a blip.
Watch out for the truck. What truck? Regardless of anything I do or say, the day starts and ends the same.
My mom's going out of town this
Time
weekend.
you're having a party?
Yeah, how'd you know?
Rob,
What?
I'm freaking out.
Are you in trouble? You can trust me.
Mom, do you think I'm a good person?
I don't want to pay for that. I might just wait until every once in a while, like they'll shift around their movies that they have for free, so I might wait it out. But I don't think I ever saw this. I feel like, was this in theaters? If you know, can you please let me know in the comments, because I feel like I would not have missed this one. I actually really liked this book.
What I think. It's important is what you think.
Sociopath, 12 o'clock. Why do we hate Juliet?
Why do you care all of a sudden?
Yesterday you said you were afraid she would bite you.
That was a long time ago. That was yesterday. Juliet, wait! If I was going to relive the same day over and over, I want it to be a day that would make a difference. But not just for me. I just need to hold on for one more minute.
I don't think I saw that movie. But that's so weird, because I feel like I would not have missed something like that, but I don't know. Anyways, also another crossover episode, the girl in If I Stay is also the main character in The Fifth Wave.
All right, be good. You can't be good.
Don't get caught.
Love you guys.
I loved this book.
Okay, who can give me the derivative of X?
What's going on?
Everybody saw the stuff about the drones in New Jersey, correct? It's fine, everything's fine.
Did you guys see that?
Oh my god.
At 1:07 a.m., the Odyssey satellite received images of an object moving past Mars.
It's right over us.
I want to see.
I didn't know it then, but that was the last normal day of my life.
We have reason to believe there's an imminent threat to this location.
All right, stay with your sister.
The waves have begun.
It started.
Coordinated attacks on metropolitan areas.
The first wave knocked out all the power. Then the second wave hit. An earthquake strong enough to shake the entire planet.
Cassie, I got you.
With the third wave, disease spread across the world. By the fourth wave, they were among us.
The others have the ability to inhabit human hosts. They could be
This part of the movie was wild. I don't remember exactly what I pictured when I first read The Fifth Wave, because I truly loved that book, and for me the humor was spot on in the book. In the movie they did okay, but the thing that they did with like how the aliens are like in the hosts was really, I still can't decide if I liked it or not. I remember seeing it and being like, this is weird, but I can't figure out if it's a good weird or a bad weird.
Anywhere. We can't trust anyone anymore.
The others took my brother, and I'm gonna go get him.
You will learn to think, move, and fight like soldiers.
Oh my gosh, I loved that girl. They're like, I think she's called Ringer or something like that. I forgot how good this movie. Well, like, okay, I forgot how good the movie is to me. I know so many people who did not like this movie, and I think it's because I don't hold Fifth Wave as dearly as I do Hunger Games and Divergent, and so maybe if the Fifth Wave was your Divergent, you don't like the movie. But I remember really liking this and then being really upset that they weren't going to make the other ones.
I want to be ready.
You won't get very far on your own. Grab the gun and snap my hand away. Good.
I was supposed to fight them if I don't even know what they are.
What are you? They took everything from me.
My sister's coming.
Dad! This is our world. This is our home. Our only choice is to take it back.
Drop it!
I know you're human.
How?
Because if you were one of them, you would have shot me already.
This was actually like, some of these scenes are exactly what I pictured personally in the book. They picked the sweetest little baby to play Teddy. I loved them together. I thought they were just the cutest couple and I wanted the next movie. That's exactly what I was just thinking, that sometimes this has happened to me before with books where I'm like, they hit a little too close to home. People in the comments are really funny. When I was trying to read The Stand by Stephen King, because I read his book on writing, and that was the only book I'd ever read from him, and I was like, I can tell that he's a really good writer. And then I started reading The Stand, and I was like, in the prose, I could tell it was going to be such a good book. But the thing with the Stand is about the flu taking over and like killing people, because it's like such an intense strain, and my understanding is there's a little bit more to that, but that's about as far as I got. But the problem was I was that far into the novel when I got the flu, and now when I see things about like plagues, it feels weirder now, because I definitely read this way before 2020. Twilight with aliens. See, this is somebody who didn't enjoy the movie. No. The sixth wave was when people started walking out of the theater. No. People hated it that much. That's so upsetting. On to the host. I just rewatched this movie like 3 times. It's free on YouTube right now.
I'm sorry and you die. It's impossible. You're human. My name is Jared Howe. I haven't spoken to another human being in 2 years.
Melanie, Strider, this is the beginning.
So, they aged her up in the movie. Just a reminder that he was 26. She was like 17 in the book. Oh.
Of a love story. And that might not seem like a big deal, except for one thing. This is the future, and humanity is all but extinct. We have been invaded by another species who erase our minds to take our bodies. But there are a few of us left who still fight back. I'll lead them away.
Melanie, no!
Come with us. Like hell!
Yeah, reminder. I feel like a lot of people don't know this book, but it is written by Stephanie Meyer, who wrote Twilight.
Barely a bone not broken, or organ ruptured.
This one wants to live.
See?
Human bodies take a lot of getting used to. They're not like the others we have inhabited. Their emotions are powerful. If her will has survived along with her memories, she may resist from within.
So, with this, I feel like they did what they could with the CGI. Because a lot of the stuff, like, when we see sci-fi-ish stuff from these young adult adaptations, they sometimes, like, give it a half effort, I feel like. But with this one, I thought it looked good. The souls themselves, the little caterpillar thingies, they did what they could with the description they had. Because those are going to be really hard to get right. But I think they overall did a good job with that. And with the way the eyes are and stuff like that. Another pause to avoid copyright. I will say that this song was like on repeat for me. I think they took it out because there's this one, if you remember this, I feel like this might be an original experience. They originally had in this trailer like this extra like note in the song, and I could not find it anywhere on the internet, and they took it out of the trailer, I think, because I've never found it again, and I know it wasn't a fever dream because I watched the trailer so many times.
It's not human.
I'm trying to remember where that guy's from because I've definitely seen him in other things. This was another crossover between the other love interest, because this is fun because it's like a love square except two of them are in the same body. The other guy was in the Percy Jackson movies that everyone hates.
So we start acting.
That guy.
I miss everything about her, and I would do anything to get her back. I gotta know. Isn't Ellen in there?
I feel like they did actually like... No. I feel like they did actually such a good job with this movie, and I feel like obviously they have good... Like Saoirse Ronan, she went on to do a lot in her career, so I feel like this would have been really hard to act properly, and I think they did a really good job with it. Trying to crush through these because we are an hour in. All right, Mortal Instruments. The one they tried to do twice and failed twice.
Everything you've heard about monsters, about nightmares,
Legends whispered around campfires. All the stories are true.
I will say they captured the aesthetic for this from the books like super, super well. But to me, Clary looks exactly like Clary. And then I did not like Jamie Campbell Bower as Jace. I think he did a good job, but to me, he doesn't look at all like Jace. And do you know who they offered that job to? What's his name? Alex somebody. He looks like Jace, and then he turned it down because he apparently didn't think like this YA adaptation was serious enough, and then he went on to play the main character in I Am Number 4. Anywho, continue.
What is it? You didn't see that? Oh God, this isn't happening.
What are you looking at?
They made it serious in this trailer, but that scene was actually so funny with her trying to hide.
What can I see you no one else can?
Not a mundane.
What's a mundane?
Someone from the human world.
Well, if not a human, then what am I?
Your mother is a shadow hunter like you.
I've been hunting demons across the world in their varying different forms.
Shadow hunters.
Half angel, half human. Beings of immense power. Strong enough to restore balance.
The portal was ridiculous in this, though, I'll be honest.
What is it about her? She's different. She's gonna get us all killed.
I still feel like they made Alex and Izzy so much older in this movie. Like, I don't know if they meant to age them up, but I feel like the actors didn't look teenage. Like, they looked mature adults.
There's a map inside your head, Clary. You are the key to our survival.
Too many of them.
Have a little faith.
This was the scene where they started blasting dubstep. The score was a choice.
Welcome to the City of Bones.
I do feel like they did a good job with the Silent Brothers, which they're kind of hard to, I feel like, do well, but they looked the way I imagined them in the actual books. I'm trying to remember how they did the Silent Brothers in the Shadowhunters TV show, because I watched the first season and part of the second season, but that also was just like such a weird adaptation. This one, I fear it just flopped because not enough people went into it having already read the books. I feel like Cassandra Clare's books are so popular, but at the same time, I don't think they ever achieved the same level of popularity as some of the trilogies during that time, and so maybe there weren't enough readers going into it, because I feel like even though they kind of alluded to the fact that there will be no incest in the movies, that it still just didn't hit correctly with people who had not read the books. And then they never made another one. And then they came out with that TV show that I think was cool, but it also just went so far off the rails that it didn't fully, I don't know, it didn't make sense to me. And I feel like they took it and they did very much their own thing with it, when they could have turned it into, like, what everybody wants is a word-for-word adaptation of the books. That is what we want. The dialogue is there. The description of everything you need is there. We don't need to be making up all this extra stuff. And I feel like that's what they did with the TV show, and that's why I think it went on several seasons, but I feel like they didn't finish out, if that makes sense. Like they weren't renewed, I think. An absolute classic to end with. You know, I don't think I ever saw the trailer before I saw the movie. I had to have seen this trailer at some point, but the score is sending me right now. Stop.
Fast
What?
and strong.
Wait, when was this released? 12 years ago. That would have been 2012. The score for the movie is so good. What did we do with the trailer?
Give me some answers.
I'd rather hear your theories.
I have considered radioactive spiders and kryptonite.
It's all superhero stuff, right? What if I'm not the hero? What if I'm the bad guy?
I know what you are. Your skin is pale white and ice cold. You don't go out into the sunlight.
I love that they did that purely for the fans, like with the apple thing. Nobody in the movie who hadn't read the books or hadn't seen the covers of the books would have been like recognizing that. Like, it's kind of weird if you take it out of context of the cover.
Say it out loud. Say it.
Vampire.
Are you afraid?
No. This isn't real. This kind of stuff just doesn't exist.
It does in my world. I just want to try one thing. I don't know how long I've waited for you.
What is going on?
Security guard at the mill got killed by some kind of animal.
An animal.
My family, we're different from others of our kind. You brought a snack.
I saw someone in the comments be like, they really showed the whole movie in the trailer, and I was like, no, they didn't. Yes, they did. What on earth? Why are you showing this much in the trailer? Nothing's gonna be a surprise.
Coming after me?
The hunt is his obsession. He's never gonna stop.
I'd rather die than to stay away from you.
He's got unparalleled senses, absolutely lethal. I'll do whatever it takes to make you safe again. You're faster than the others, but not stronger. I'm strong enough to.
This trailer feels like it's lasting 3 years. I honestly can't believe they included this much in the trailer. Now that I'm watching it, I don't know if I've ever seen this trailer before. The choices are interesting, and I feel like the pacing is so weird in this trailer.
Kill you. You are my life now.
Be honest, if you had seen this trailer, would you have gone and seen the movie? Because the only reason I ever watched those movies was because I had friends who loved it so much that they wanted me to read the books and watch the movies. And of course, I fell into the obsession as well. But I don't think I ever saw this. And I think if I had seen this first, I don't know if I would have been interested. I feel like there are so many more that we could do. So if you also had fun going through these trailers, let me know. We can do a part 2. If you're interested in that, please let me know other movies and stuff that you think would be fun to watch the trailers and stuff. I feel like I'm patiently awaiting the next wave of books like that. Shatter Me, Throne of Glass. There's so many still that have been, I feel like, option for film, or people have been talking about it. Red Queen included, which I heard they are making. So things to look forward to. Please like this video if you liked it. Click subscribe if you want to talk about more book stuff. My name's Caitlin. Thanks for watching. Bye.